Okay, well, good afternoon and welcome everybody. My name is John Grimes. I'm the Chief Executive of the Smart Energy Council. And welcome this afternoon to our very special webinar where we're focusing particularly on Growatt's activities in Australia, looking at both their inverter technology, but more importantly, probably their new range of products on the market, which is the energy storage and battery technology. So introducing that for the first time. This session is being recorded. We're using Zoom to do this, so if you're not familiar with the technology, a couple of features I'll just point out. On the bottom of your Zoom screen, there's a bar, and there are two buttons there that'll be helpful to you. The first is a chat button. If you click chat, if you type something in there and you make sure that all the panelists and attendees can see it, then actually that's something that you'll be able to make comment as we go along. There's also a Q&A button, and I'd really encourage you to use the Q&A button for asking questions. So if you click on the Q&A button as we go along in the presentations, feel free to pop a question in there. What I'll do is at the end of the session is moderate that and then put those to our panelists so we can get through those in a really efficient way. Some of our staff may actually answer your question online. You might get a typed response, and others will actually put up for discussion. In terms of continuous professional development points, the way that we'll process this is that we'll be processing them tomorrow, and then all of those certificates will be emailed to you on Monday. So the email address that you use to register for this session today is the email address that we'll use to provide you with that attendance certificate. If you're an installer, you'll need that certificate to maintain your accreditation. So you need to submit that with your paperwork. If you're not an installer and you get this certificate of attendance, congratulations, you've got a certificate of attendance. So that's the way that we'll handle that. But there's nothing more that you need to do with that. It's worth saying that it's been really interesting through the whole COVID experience. We at the Smart Energy Council have really pivoted online, and it's been so successful. What we're finding is that we're allowing people in geographic parts of Australia that would normally not be able to come along to our events to actually join us and join in. So I expect today that there will be people from far north Queensland, from the north, the Pilbara of Western Australia, from Tasmania, from other geographic areas around the country. And I want to say welcome particularly to all of those people. It's certainly a very time-efficient way to do things. When you don't have the time and expense of travelling, you can just log in and join us. So I suspect that this will be a feature that we will retain, even if we do go back to something approaching normal in the next year or so. Talking about today's topic, today's webinar is really looking at energy independence. When I was talking to Growatt a couple of months ago about what this webinar might look like, they were particularly thinking about that in the context of bushfires and coronavirus. So I wanted to start by just giving you a couple of observations about what coronavirus appears to have done to the solar PV and the energy storage market in Australia. In places like South Australia, where they've recently reduced the rebate, it means there's been a big flurry of activity. There's been a lot of activity in places like South Australia, but that's kind of a little bit artificial, if you like. How about the rest of Australia? Well, the best summary that I've seen has been put up by Bobby McKibben, who runs an installation company in Wodonga in northern Victoria, and she's also her company Solar Integrity is a member of the Smart Energy Council. And I'm sure that Bobby won't mind me sharing these observations with you. Bobby says for her business, when the coronavirus problem kicked off, the phones were really running hot and people were interested in energy independence. How can I get solar and batteries so that I can look after my family no matter what's going to happen ahead? Then, as things got really serious and we got into that really tight lockdown phase, the inquiries just fell off a cliff. So she reckons probably around 90% reduction in the inquiries through that 3-week period or so. However, when the Prime Minister announced that those social distancing measures were looking to be relaxed, the phones have started running again. And in fact, they're actually picking up and may even be at a level greater than when the coronavirus came along. So it's probably a little bit early to call it, but I wouldn't be surprised if at the end of this we find that the solar and storage industries have been big winners in the coronavirus environment, that people have learned how to operate safely, and that people are interested in solar and batteries more than ever before. So still too early to call, but an interesting observation. I'd be really keen to hear what's happening to you, because that's a snapshot from Northern Victoria. Of course, they've got a rebate scheme there that's pretty generous as well. So use the chat function just to if you don't mind, just give us a bit of a sense of what you're seeing. Is it up? Is it down? Is it still diabolical? Still, that'd be really interesting to know. Well, the agenda for today, we're going to actually hear from some of Growatt's customers, so distributors, but also end-use customers, to really answer the question, why are they choosing Growatt? Why are they partnering with Growatt? We'll then hear from Rex Wang, who's the product manager for Growatt, and he'll talk about energy independence, but also their sales support program in Australia. And then after that, we'll have time for Q&A. So remember to type in your questions as we go along, and we'll come to those and have a panel discussion at the end. So Growatt is a platinum member of the Smart Energy Council. We're very pleased to be working with Growatt. It's really interesting when you hear the Growatt story, because Growatt was sort of forming in about 2010, 2011, just as the Australian solar PV market was really taking off. So the very first load of inverters that were manufactured for export were exported to Australia, right? Just a happy coincidence that the two were kind of growing together. And what we've seen since there is that Growatt's really been in and very focused on the Australian market ever since that time. So Rex tells me that they've installed something like 200,000 inverters now in the Australian market, right across the Australian territory. So there's definitely a strong connection between Growatt and Australia. Well, I've had the opportunity to visit Growatt on 3 occasions now. Growatt are based in a place called near Shenzhen, which is sort of considered the Silicon Valley of China. It's just across the border from Hong Kong, and this is actually a photograph of a delegation that we led to visit, among other companies, Growatt, in May last year, when you were still allowed to travel internationally, but give you a sense. This was a delegation. We actually rode the high-speed train in China to visit Growatt. The train there, one of these bullet trains, sits at about 305 kilometers an hour. And here's a photograph of kind of the business class carriages on that train. Absolutely fantastic, kind of fully flat lay-down beds with a bar on board, which pleased our Australian delegation no end. As I said, Shenzhen sits just across the border from Hong Kong. Here's a photograph. They actually do a fantastic light show in Shenzhen, if you've ever been there, and it actually runs for weeks and weeks. And what they do is they coordinate every building in the city, essentially, with big spotlights, and they actually run, video and other things on it. You'll see this screen here. You know, it's absolutely magnificent, unbelievable sort of light show. So definitely worth going to see. Certainly helps when you can, get all of the different companies and buildings to participate in that way. Also, absolutely fantastic electric cars. Here's the sort of electric cars that they're building in Shenzhen these days. So that's a lot of fun too. So it's high-end manufacturing. This big high-end manufacturer is just down the road from the Growatt office. So it really is kind of in that central area. To give you a sense of the scale, in the Pearl River Delta area, which is Hong Kong, Shenzhen, Guangzhou, that kind of region, there are 107 million people, 107 million people. Like, it's just a whole different scale. If you haven't visited China, I really recommend that you do. It's absolutely mind-blowing, the scale and the speed and the pace of development. I think really moving ahead of the whole world, frankly. So this was the administrative building where we arrived at Growatt, and they were absolutely fantastic hosts. So we're also able to see all of their showroom facilities, all of their different product set, right from the sort of their earliest products right up till today, including electric vehicle charging, smart energy management, energy storage systems, as well as inverters, including big inverters that you can use on solar farms and utility scale projects. As I said earlier, Growatt have certainly moved into energy storage, and it's something that they want to talk a little bit about today. What I'd like to do now is go ahead and introduce our first speaker, Lily Zhou. Lily is the Chief Operating Officer of Santera, and I'd like to welcome Lily now. Welcome, Lily.
Hello, everyone. Hi. Yeah, so thank you very much for the opportunity today. Although Santera has been in solar business for 10 years now, 2020 is a most unexpected year for us in terms of home battery market. Before 2020, our sales reps didn't want to talk about home batteries with our customers because it would easily burn a very hot lead. Specifically, we found that customers were against home batteries for 3 major reasons: price too high, return on investment too low, and not much reliable equipment available. However, since the beginning of 2020, things have changed. We find that more and more people start to consider home batteries when they are inquiring about their solar. Also, it is interesting to see our returning customers who have had solar before now asking for batteries. So what has driven this positive change in the energy storage market? We believe it could largely be the supportive government policy. For example, South Australia's home battery scheme. Another important factor that contributes to the battery market is that reliable storage equipment has now become available. Nowadays, we noticed that when it comes to PV and storage equipment, customers are much more educated than ever. In particular, they make best use of the internet to research and compare different brands in terms of market history, quality, reliability, affordability, and even other factors such as warranty claim experiences. Well, at Santera, we always refer to our customers' preferences when choosing our suppliers, and we would only select those suppliers who continue to deliver reliable products and services. For example, for panels, we are heavily promoting Jinko, which is globally #1 brand. If customers want entry-level products at a lower cost, we have Lipton, which is an innovative Japanese brand. In terms of hybrid inverters and batteries, we mainly partner with Growatt. We opted for Growatt after reviewing lots of different inverter brands. Actually, Growatt inverters have been in Australia's solar market for 10 years now, just as John has mentioned, and they are well known as quality and reliable inverters. So one big selling point for Growatt inverters is their comprehensive product line that suits all different needs. Since 2020, we have seen a rapid increase in demand for Growatt storage inverters. In particular, Growatt hybrid inverters and batteries suit customers who choose to buy solar with battery. Growatt AC coupled inverters and batteries suit customers who had solar before, now only adding batteries. As a volume system provider and installer, we do appreciate this feature because it saves us a big headache. So previously we had some brands making batteries only, while other brands making storage inverters only. So when problems came, the different brands tend to blame each other, so ending up with bigger problems and unhappy customers. So far, Growatt is probably still the one brand that provides vertical integration from inverters to batteries for both hybrid and AC coupled systems. Another highlight is that Growatt offers top-notch technical support from start to finish. Based in Australia, they have local engineers and support teams who provide useful system design information for us at the sales stage. They offer technical support to our installers on site and over the phone. They also offer excellent customer services after installation whenever customers have an issue with their inverters and batteries. In particular, Growatt has an online platform that allows customers to access real-time data to monitor their PV and storage performance. Therefore, at Santera, everyone from sales, office, installers to our customers are very confident with Growatt products and their team. So bring things to a close. In 2020, it is very encouraging to see that people continue to move to solar, but more are accompanied by storage. Indeed, home batteries are changing from a concept into an actual household appliance, which is exactly what solar experienced 10 years ago. In line with this trend, the importance of selecting quality and reliable equipment cannot be overstated for all system providers and installers in the industry. The perfect time to take action is now. Well, thank you very much all for listening and have a great day.
Thanks, Lily. I think it's always good to get the view of a distributor, a partner. You know, why do you work with a brand? Because ultimately, you're going to have the headaches. If something goes wrong on the ground, you're the one who's got to wear that, deal with the customer. So the fact that you've been dealing with a company like Growatt and you've got the confidence in the equipment and the support, I think is really, really great. Max, what we might do now is I'd like to just show everyone a short introductory video on Growatt before I go ahead and introduce Rex Wang. Max, I might just get you to bring that up and play that for us.
Growatt, as the world's leading PV inverter manufacturer, has been providing clean and efficient new energy solutions to users in more than 100 countries globally. As China's leading manufacturer of residential and commercial PV inverters, Growatt emphasizes the importance of independent R&D and technological innovation. It has a team of experts with more than 10 years of experience in the industry. Growatt holds more than 60 patents, as well as the highest rated inverter, reaching up to 99% efficiency, and continues to create high-quality, cost-effective products. Growatt has a state-of-the-art, fully automated production line with comprehensive quality testing to provide the best product possible. With its reputation for quality products and outstanding performance both in domestic and overseas markets, the company has won numerous honors that have been pushing us to search for more efficient and smarter solutions for photovoltaics, which ultimately led to the creation of the Growatt Smart Energy Solution.
Excellent. Thanks very much for that, Max. We've got a couple other short videos, but I might play them at the end of your presentation, Rex, if that's okay. Just some little short videos from customers. What I'd like to do now is go ahead and introduce Rex Wang. Rex is based in Melbourne. And so, you know, locally on the ground, but more importantly, Rex actually has a whole team of technical specialists based in Sydney, and Rex is going to tell us a little bit more about that, about your exciting hybrid inverters, about your new battery storage technology, about your VPP products, Rex. Anyway, please welcome Rex Wang.
Thank you. All right, I will start sharing my screen. Hello everyone, my name is Rex Wang. First thing first, I'd like to really appreciate it for your attendance. It's really, it's a really great time to spend 1 hour talking about our products and also our solutions. And secondly, I would like to really appreciate it for these cooperating opportunities from Growatt and Smart Energy Councils. We have a lot of connections for almost 3 years. And third, I'd like to appreciate it for our partners, Santera, who helped us a lot this year. I really appreciate it for that. All right, today my presentation will be how to gain your energy independence during the bushfire and coronavirus, COVID-19. So obviously my presentation will be divided into some parts. I'd like to talk a little bit about the impact has already been done and will be done for the COVID-19 and bushfire, and also why energy independence is so important for people. And next one will be how can we achieve energy independence. Also, we're talking about the challenge and opportunities in the during you achieve your energy independence. And then I'd like to talk about a little bit more about our company, Growatt, and also our solutions, energy storage solutions. Last but not least, actually the most important was local reference for our energy storage has been installed in South Australia. All right. Yes, Australia does have bushfire every year, but 2019's bushfire seems much larger than ever before. Many people have lost their houses, lost their money, and even lost their loved ones. According to IEMO, 40,000 kilos of the transmission line has been burned out. And also in Victoria, for example, more than 1,900 power poles has been destroyed, and 37,000 of people have suffered from the unstable grid and blackouts. Another big problem is COVID-19, because now the impact for COVID-19 is not just for our renewable energy industry, it's actually for the whole society. How big that impact can be, we're not 100% sure. But the good news is that according to the Sunwaste report we bought, in this year's March, there's like 50% increase compared to last year. And also in April, the whole Australia is locked down. But there's only like 10% reductions compared with last year. That means people, even with the lockdown, people are still supporting the renewable energy. And another bad news is some of the electricity company has increased their electricity price. All right, things might get even worse, because now first thing first will be the economy of Australia. How long it will recover, we are not 100% sure. But in a foreseeable future, we can see Australia still in lockdown, and wherever the installers do the installations, they are only allowed 2 persons at one time. And also another biggest challenge will be the climate change. 2019 can be considered the hottest year of Australia's history. The maximum temperature has reached almost 42 degrees. Last time the temperature is so high, it's only 40 degrees. That means the climate change will cause more extreme weather events, such as the raising of the sea levels. Many of the Australian cities are along the seaside, they're coastal cities. So there will definitely be a lot of impact from the climate change, like rising of sea levels, hurricanes, drought, everything. All right, why is energy independence so important? As John mentioned before, I think people have to realize, especially during the lockdown time, they realize they have to control their own power supply rather than depending on unstable grid. They can control their all electricities and controls their all power consumptions from their solar system to their energy storage system. All right, so how can you achieve this one? Take a photo for this one. Because now compare with, on the left side, compare with traditional on-grid solar system, which is already being installed in Australia. The energy storage system is actually add a battery. The inverter used, we call it a hybrid inverter. The hybrid inverter can charge, not only convert from the solar power to AC, feed back to grid or support a family load, but also it can charge the batteries. Your solar power from your rooftop will stored in your old batteries. When blackout happen or at nighttime, batteries can be discharged to support your family load for your daily use. All right, now go to the opportunity of energy storage system. Because now Australian government and Australian people are the pioneers in the renewable energy. Take South Australia, for example. South Australia home battery scan, before the middle of the April, you can get a maximum 6,000 Australian dollars for government rebate. If you plus for the STCs, that means totally you can get around 9,000 Australian dollars government rebate when you install a site of energy storage system. That's very supportive. And also another one, after calculation, we work together with Santera, and we have worked out the return of your investment for South Australia clients would be as short as 3 years. And it means you will have 13 kilowatt hours of the lithium batteries, newest technology of the lithium batteries, 5 kilowatt of the hybrid inverter, and 6.5 of the solar panels on your roof. Another one, once you bought an energy storage system, that means you have the capability updating potential for virtual power plant. This is a very popular concept in Australia right now. I will talk a little bit about this one later. And also the challenges for energy storage system. The first one would be the high temperature. Yes, Australia get a lot of solar power. Another problem is Australia is very hot too. Compared with a traditional on-grid inverters, solar energy storage system also would be more vulnerable and sensitive. For this case of scenario, Growatt had developed our new technology of the battery for LFP, lithium iron batteries. And also we had developed very accurate BMS, battery management system. This battery management system is so accurate, it can not only monitor and check the batteries itself, but also each cell of the batteries, like temperature, voltage, and current. Something goes wrong, it will shut down the battery immediately, shut down the whole system immediately. All right, another challenge for that is, as Lily mentioned before, is after-sales services. To be honest with you, energy storage system compared with a traditional on-grid system, energy storage system is at least 10 times more complicated than on-grid system. Which means you must have a very supportive technical support. For Growatt, our service, if the installers, for the first time they install our energy storage system, we will provide remotely on-site video support. Our engineer book a reservation with our engineers, and they will provide the first time on-site support, remotely on-site support with video chat, like WhatsApp or WeChat. Also, another problem for that is many of the installers complained to us before we do launch our product. We do the investigations in local installers. They complained with us about they installed one inverter and another batteries, different brand, and there always conflicts between the inverter and batteries. Battery side is the inverter problem, inverter side is the battery problem. For this case of scenarios, Growatt holds the warranty and technical support for both our batteries and our inverters. Our technicians, our engineers being well treated for both inverter and energy storage system. Another challenge is long-term reliable services. Take this photo, for example. This picture on the left side is our 10 years ago, our very first inverters, what we call 5K MTL. On the right side is our newest generation, our biggest seller in 2019, PL-X. As you can tell, it's much smaller and higher efficient. We go to a little bit of our company. Our company was founded in 2010. We grew up together with Australian market, solar market. And at the very beginning, Australian market has provided very fundamental financial support for Growatt. So for us, we treat Australia as our second hometown. And another character for our company is our founder, Mr. Dim, our CEO and our founder, Mr. Dim. Before he he established Growatt, he's actually one inverter R&D engineer. He's very experienced in the inverter industry. So obviously, which makes our Growatt really care about innovations and creations. We care about new technologies. All right. What we had done in 2019, we have sold around 5 gigawatts of the inverter, and in 2020, we're targeted to sell to, around 7.5 gigawatts, which will make us, right now, we are already number 3 single-phase inverter manufacturer in the world. Obviously, I'd like to talk about a little bit more about Australia. 2019 was a fantastic year, and we have sold around 40,000 inverters just in Australia. That means we took like 50% of the Australian residential inverter market share. And we have 10 years long trackable local service record. Also, we have 5 full-time service engineers in Sydney Civil Water. Most of our service case will be closed in 48 hours. And each year, our marketing activities contains like 20 plus of training and road shows, and also exhibitions and summit with local councils like Smart Energy Council and Clean Energy Councils. So obviously, this is our product of our hybrid inverter. This is what we use the most in South Australia as a SPH. It's a single-phase low-voltage batteries. And also, Australian market is a mature market. So obviously, there are many existing solar sites. We use the AC coupled SPA for the updating existing solar system into an energy storage one. And also, something I want to emphasize is our new product for 2020 is PL-XH. At this moment, we sell this inverter as just an on-grid inverter. You buy it just as an on-grid inverter. In future time, when the price of the lithium battery dropped, you can add it to our lithium batteries, then update it seamlessly, updating this on-grid system into an energy storage one. Also, this is our 3-phase hybrid, and also 3-phase AC couple for some of the larger houses with 3-phase grid. Another concept we want to talk about is very popular in Australia's virtual power plants. For once you have installed the energy storage system, that means you get the capability of the virtual power plant. You can actually make money from the virtual power plant. It's 2 points. First one is to sell electricity to your neighbors. And secondly, improves the grid quality. You can even get paid from IEMO for improving the frequency and voltage for certain area. So take this slide for example. Each of the smart houses can be considered as a tiny little solar plant, and we integrate thousands of them together into a massive, tremendous solar virtual power plant. With this virtual power plant in South Australia, you can actually make money from your energy storage system. So yes, we are a traditional inverter manufacturer, but we are more, just so much more than just a traditional inverter manufacturer. We consider ourselves as a pioneer of the IoT, smart home solutions. We think each of the smart inverter we manufacture can be considered as the heart of your whole power supply. So inverter actually talk and control, give orders to other part of the smart home devices to control, to optimize your power consumption, save money and electricity for your house. All right, And I talked with many installers. Some of them told me that the biggest challenge when they install any brand of the inverter, the biggest challenge of them to connect the inverter to the internet. For this case of scenario, we have one solution called Shine Link. As you can tell, the little box over there, all you have to do, you connect this little white box to your client's Wi-Fi router, and it will automatically do the pairing works by themselves. You do not have to put any internet password or nothing. Nothing I want to say is our OSS system. Once you bought inverters from Growatt, we will generate one account for you, regardless if you are installer or distributor. All the inverter you installed and connect to internet actually put under your name. You can check it from internet, like what's the working status of all the inverters you install. All right. Something I want to talk about our company again. So obviously our company is really focused on the customer. Before we launch a new product, new generation product, we'll always do the marketing investigation. We talk to the installer, talk to the local installer, talk to the local distributors. We value their advice, and based on their advice, we make improvement before we launch the product. All right, so this is what we have done during COVID-19. To sum up for this one, is our HQ is fully recovered, and also we have enough local stock in Australia. So if you if you need any new product, new inverters, just give our sales Alan one email or give him a call. Our local reference. This is what we have done, the hybrid inverters, what we have done in South Australia home battery scan. This is a hybrid one with two 6.5 kilowatt hour batteries. And this is an AC coupled one. This one is compatible with existing solar system. All right, last but not least, actually the most important part, it's local service. Please remember this number, 1-800-476-928. For any problem, warranty claim, technical support, or remote control of the inverters, give this number a call. Our engineer will definitely help you out. All right, there's something I want to say at last. And I feel really honored to be part of the renewable energy. Because what we have done now is not only for money, just for money. It's actually what we did is for our next generation. They're saying that we are the first generation to feel the impact of the climate change, and also we are the last generation who can actually do something about it. Being part of the renewable energy industry, it definitely do something to slow down or even stop the climate change. All right, thank you, that's all.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Rex. Look, I learned a lot in that presentation. Some key statistics. Growatt sold 40,000 inverters in the Australian market last year. In total, your company shipped 5 gigawatts of inverters around the world in 2019. So, so basically, equivalent to all of the solar, including large scale solar that was installed in Australia last year, that amount sort of manufactured and sent to the global market. So that's really a fantastic statistic. I've got a bunch of questions. There's also a bunch of questions that come through. So we want to get into the technical detail. Before we do that though, Max, I might just, one of the things I asked Rex to do is to see if he could get a video from a customer. And I said, we want real people, Rex. We want just real people talking about why they've installed batteries. And so it's the unpolished view from the street. So Rex, I might get you to just play the first one of those if you can.
This is my Growatt solar system installed early this year. I'm from Adelaide, South Australia. And since I got this system, I don't need to pay any cent of electricity bill. And the system is pretty efficient and reliable. The staff from the Growatt, they are very helpful. And also any question I ask, they will answer me very quick. So I'm pretty happy with the Growatt.
And Max, I think there's one other. I'll just show quickly while Max is getting that next one up. Very interested in some of the economics too, Rex. So keen to talk to you about that. So I'll just let Rex pay this. Max pay this next one.
So you've got a battery system. What was it really that made you want to go for a battery instead of say a standard PV system? So.
Yeah, mainly because like at night in summer we run the air conditioner, and just knowing that we've got something to fall back on if we need to. That's part of it as well. But yeah, I just wanted to try it anyhow. I've been waiting a long time to get the right price, etc. So that's why I'm doing it. Yeah.
Awesome. So that was really the kicker that made you look towards.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the price. That was a very good deal that Santera had. So the two came together.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've got a Growatt battery and inverter system. What was it that made you really look to Growatt in terms of say other brands or whatnot?
Well, probably because they seem to have the complete system. I looked at other ones and they hummed and hawed about different things, whereas this was the complete system, so we went with it. And prior to that, we had a very small one on the roof, but 6 or 7 years ago it was quite a large one, but it's not any longer. So yeah, that was the main reason.
Fantastic.
Excellent. Thanks for that, Rex. And I love that, the real view from the street, it's, but I think it's an important point. People are attracted to the fact that you've got the complete system in one. You're doing the inverters and the batteries. There's only 1 point of warranty, 1 point of connection. The other thing that you said, which I really liked, was the idea of giving real-time video support to installers installing the product for the first time. So actually being there on site with them as long as it takes to basically get the job done and get it done right, so that they're not scrambling, for the first one that they do.
Yeah, we understand how hard the energy storage installation can be. So I had to use smart meter, Wi-Fi dongles, things like that. So obviously just for the first time, and for the installer to get familiar with our product.
Rex, a couple of questions coming through. One of the questions is that this is from Who, basically saying that he hopes that the DC input comes with a high current rating, because now he's increasingly using bifacial panels and shingle panels. So is it compatible with those new generation of solar panels?
For the new generation with large current, yes, our inverter definitely can handle that. And I understand, because now some of the bifacial panels, it can be very large. I mean, the current can reach like 40 ampere, I think, 40.5. Yes, our inverter can handle that.
Okay, excellent. Can you talk a little bit more about the cycle life of the batteries, and then the warranty of the inverters and the batteries?
Yeah, it's very complicated one, because now every lithium batteries has very complicated terms and conditions for that. And but ours, for how to say, it's 10 years warranty, 6,000 cycles, and at the end of this lifespan, it's supposed to still perform like 60% of its performance is supposed to be, and that's basically everything. Yeah, the battery is a 10 years warranty.
And how about the inverter? What's the warranty on the inverters?
As a hybrid inverter, I mean, on-grid inverter, we offer the 5+5, but a hybrid inverter, we right now is 5 years warranty.
And Lily, do you find that people are opting, if they don't go for the batteries, they are thinking about putting in this XH inverter, this one that is battery ready, so that all they need to do is just plug the batteries on later on down the track?
Yeah, so that is one of the options. So the AC coupled battery systems. So which means in our older customers who had a solar before, then they can just add the AC coupled Growatt inverter and the batteries. Yeah.
Rex, another question here. Just what are the different battery sizes that are available in Australia?
So right now we have the 6.5 kilowatt hour. That's the only thing we have at this moment. But in future, in probably Q3, I think we will have different size. So to as small as 3 kilowatt hour.
Do you have the ability to tie two 6
Yeah,
kilowatt-hour batteries
Yeah,
together?
12 the maximum right now we can parallelize it together like a 13 kilowatt hour. 12 the 60.5 kilowatt hour batteries.
Right, almost 13 kilowatt hours. Okay,
Yeah.
right. And Lily, what are most customers going for? Are you finding that people are going more for just a single module at 6 kilowatt hours, or are they typically buying the two modules at almost 13 kilowatt hours?
Yeah, I think this is a very good question, because most of our customers opt for the 2 batteries option in South Australia, because that will maximum the subsidy they can get from, they can claim from the scheme. Yeah, but in other states, for example, in Western Australia, people only select the 1 battery.
That's interesting. It is worth just giving a little bit of explanation around that for viewers who aren't familiar with the South Australian scheme. So the South Australian government was paying up to $6,000 for low-income households, up to $5,000. That rebate's now been dropped. So most households are able to get a rebate of $3,000 in South Australia to go towards a battery system. But on some of the figures you were giving earlier, Rex, where people have a 13 kilowatt hour battery system, a 5 kilowatt inverter, and 6.5 kilowatts of solar PV on their roofs, in the South Australian context, where they're getting the STC support and they're getting the state government rebate as well, that they're able to have a payback time as low as 3 years. That wouldn't be everybody, but some of them are achieving that. I mean, that is an absolutely fantastic deal, because then, okay, you've got at least 10 years worth of warranty for the batteries. You might need to replace the inverter out, over the 20-year life cycle, but you're probably going to need to do that anyway, regardless of what brand you choose. So that, basically with an inverter change, you've got free electricity for years and years to come, which is, and what are you also finding, Lily, in terms of the people who install the batteries, particularly the larger size batteries, what reduction do you typically see in their power bills? So if you're putting in a 6.5 kilowatt solar PV system and the 12 kilowatt hours of batteries, what kind of reduction are you seeing in power bills for those customers?
Okay, so I think how much saving, it actually varies from case to case. But I do have, we did see lots of customers, their bills completely offset, and they even get some credit back from the grid.
Couple of more questions coming in, Rex. One from Jonathan. He's basically saying, does the Growatt inbuilt DC isolator mean that we don't need to install a DC isolator for the inverter?
Yes, I did. And most of all of our DC isolators actually is not CC approved. It's meet the standards of AS and the 5039 or something. Yep, it's okay to use that DC isolator.
Right, okay. So you'll still need a DC isolator on the roof, right? That's a different standard. But at the inverter,
yeah, for the roof you have to have that.
That's great. That makes things useful. Okay, and a question coming from Neil, and that is, will there be a mounting solution to stack one battery in front of the other? We saw there that they're quite thin, right? And they're sort of next to each other. Could you stack them in front of each other like that? Is that possible?
Yeah, we have one product, but it's not launched. And it's actually put two batteries together, just like face to face, not back to front, and it's close to that. That's fine. As long as you do not put the batteries under direct sunshine, it's no problem. You can do that.
Next question coming in from Theral is it a low voltage or high voltage battery? So could you explain that?
At this moment, we already have the low voltage batteries, 48 volt. It's size 48 volt, but it works like 52 volt output. And in very short future, I think Q3 we'll launch a high voltage one. For the high voltage one, it means powerful, bigger. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So low voltage today, Q3, a high voltage one coming in, and maybe some efficiencies, but by using that higher voltage sort of technology.
Yeah.
Lily, a question for you. This is coming from Greg. You mentioned virtual power plants. The question is, do they exist in Australia today, or is this a thing of the future? Lily, you're just on mute there.
Yeah, sorry about it. Yeah, so I think Rex just mentioned the virtual power plants. So our understanding is, well, it is now starting to boom in Australia. So some suppliers are already engaging in this VPP, but in future it will be expanding.
Excellent. Alamanda's just asking a question. Rex, you'll be pleased to know that we've got people joining us from all over the world today. We've got delegates from Argentina, from Myanmar, from India, and we have a question here from an installer in Jakarta in Indonesia. They're very interested in getting online training about how they can use your hybrid and off-grid systems. And so what I might do, Alamanda, is just ask you to send me an email. I'll get your contact details. I'll put you in touch with Rex, and I'm sure that Growatt would have online tools for people to use.
Yeah, good.
So my email address is ceo@smartenergy.org.au, ceo@smartenergy.org.au. Okay. Sorry, I just saw Alan was responding to one of the questions, saying that you can save an external isolator for the TLX Mini and the TLX-H models. That's great. The question coming in here from an installer, do you have installations in the Australian Capital Territory to date, and is there a local support team in the ACT?
For energy storage system? Or?
Well, for both the inverters and the energy storage.
I'm pretty sure we have the distributors in ACT area, and but you have to ask our sales Alan. He's 100% sure about that. But I know there are some of the distributors in ACT area.
Okay, tremendous. What I might do is I might put Alan's contact details back up again at the end of the presentation, so people can grab those. Derek's asking about the batteries. What's the depth of discharge and the maximum kilowatt output for those batteries?
94.5% to higher depth of the discharge compared with normal one.
Okay, and the maximum kilowatt output?
Right now it's 3 kilowatt, and in future, in the Q3, we'll launch a maximum 10 kilowatt high voltage one.
Okay.
10 kilowatt, yeah.
Right, that's great. All right, okay, that's excellent. I think we've covered off most of those questions there. I think that's been really helpful. If anyone has any questions, here's another one. Richard's come through. What's the maximum number of cycles or maximum throughput for the batteries?
Cycle, I think it's 6,000 times.
So you were saying the warranty is 6,000 cycles?
Yeah.
And over a 10-year period, and that you would expect the battery to still be performing at about 60% capacity after 6,000 cycles or over 10 years. Yes. Now, presumably, what are you finding, Lily? How are people using their batteries in a domestic setting? Do you find that they're doing one cycle a day or multiple cycles a day? I don't know. Do you have any information on that?
So our experience is, majority customers are using one cycle a day. So they will get their batteries charged during the daytime, and then the batteries will discharge at the nighttime to supply their house load consumption.
Excellent. No, that's tremendous. Thank you. All right. Well, that's been really fantastic. I'd like to thank Lily and Rex for joining us today. I'm just going to find Alan's contact details before I tell you about the CPD points and other information. And Rex, I might just share this one now. Okay. So this is Alan Zhu's contact details. So here's Alan's phone number and his email address. If you want more information on the products, go to ginverter.com.au, but it might even be worth people taking a screenshot or even a photograph of that so that you've got the contact details after this. Rex, I'm really pleased. We've been working with Growatt for a number of years, as I say. It's been fantastic to visit and also to take delegates there. I think we've probably educated a whole lot of people about your capabilities, including in the battery technology that most people wouldn't have known about. They know Growatt, they know the inverters, but they didn't know the battery storage technology. And also, I think they don't know about that Internet of Things, like the whole smart home concept. You know, the other thing that I really liked was your little box that you plug into the router, and it just does all of the Wi-Fi connection for you. You don't even have to put a password in, because that's the point of failure, you know, is it just, you know, the number of times I see on the internet people asking for the passwords for different systems, you know, just make it simple, stupid, you know, is definitely the right approach. So thank you to you and to Lily for today. We're really pleased to have brought some content and also helped get people access to professional development points, you know, in a really engaging and you know, informative style. So thank you, Rex, for that. Thanks, Lily. So what we'll do, the system keeps a record of everybody who stayed until the end, and you're the people who will be emailed those certificates on Monday. I'd like to particularly thank everyone who's come in internationally, and what fantastic outreach, and we should be doing more for our international friends. And so thank you for that. Thank you to Max and the others in the background, and we look forward to seeing you on the next Smart Energy Council webinar.